Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing on this Friday morning? Just give me one moment, guys. I'll explain what happened in just a moment because I know people are asking what happened there. There we go. This is Reganelite here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Good Morning with Reganelite here on Friday, the 23rd of January 2026. Just coming up to 11 here UK time. We are dual streaming live on youtube.com/Reganelite and on twitch.tv/Reganelite1. Just for reference there, if you're on either one of those platforms. For those who are new to this live stream, what we normally do here, we look at the daily quote of the day, then we have a look at the weather, and then we have a look at the news. We're going to be looking at UK and global news kind of mixed together for this hour. We only go about an hour long, so we go stop at 12 o'clock just for reference there as well. For those who are wondering what happened with the previous live stream, I knocked my camera, and basically I had two choices: either scrap that live stream and do a new one so that you could actually see me, or have a frozen picture of me. And there was no way the picture that it froze on that I was going to do that. So I had to scrap that live stream and literally in the blink of an eye set up a new one as quickly as possible. Luckily, it only took a few minutes, so that wasn't too much of an issue there. So that's why I had to delete the other one, guys, because I knocked my camera, and if the camera screen freezes, I can't get out of it unless I end the live stream and set up a new one. And that's literally what happened 1 minute before I went live. So I had to make a decision, and that's what I chose to do there. So in case people are wondering why here. User, good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. Viper Scott as well. Yeah, not everyone realised. Yeah, people were peering, but they weren't commenting on the other live stream, and yeah. So I had to scrap the other one. So we had live stream problems yesterday, and we had live stream problems today, guys. So I need to sort out. I've got quite a lot to do today. Hopefully, I can get a lot of it done today, so that I don't need to do work tomorrow. Because I'm going to be doing some work tomorrow on Saturday, believe it or not, content-wise as well. Anyway, guys, let's start with today's daily quote here for the 23rd of January. Here it is, guys. Today's daily quote here from Paulo Colin. I can't say the surname. Colinio, something along those lines. Anyway, there, something along that there. It says, "Nothing in the world is ever completely wrong. Even a stop clock is right twice a day." Nothing in the world is ever completely wrong. Even a stop clock is right twice a day. There. That is today's daily quote. There, Stephen Banker, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Tomorrow's one for Saturday is from Brian Tracy is move out of your comfort zone. You can only grow if you are willing to feel awkward and uncomfortable when you try something new. Move out of your comfort zone. You can only grow if you are willing to feel awkward and uncomfortable when you try something new. That is very true for Saturday. Sunday's daily quota is: time is free, but it is priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can spend it. Once you lost it, you can never get it back. So Sunday's daily quote. Sorry, I've got to stop saying quota. Time is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can spend it. And once you've lost it, you can never get it back. That is Sunday's quote there for reference there. Monday's one's a nice one. Well, you have to wait till Monday for that one. So there's your weekend quotes there for reference there. Saz, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. And good morning, Mel. Hope you are doing well as well. Good to see you there. Yeah. Once I'm earning a bit more money, I will get a ducky plush. But as of right now, I won't be doing that until I get through this whole monetization stuff. If I ever will. Look, I'm not ruling out the possibility of going back to work full time as well, with the current situation, guys. So that's I'm not ruling that out either. Right, here is today's daily map. the map here from for those who are reference, this is the bbc.co.uk/weather map as well here of our big blue beautiful planet here. These are the temperatures we're expecting at the moment here for today at 6 o'clock here. Yellowknife -28, Anchorage -7, Vancouver 4, San Francisco 11, New York 2. And what's going on with my camera? What on earth is happening with my camera? Oh no, don't do this to me. Am I really going to have to go? Do I really have to scrap this live stream? Don't do this to me. Come on. Camera's gone. It's there. Appears to have come back. Appears to have come back. I'm not having a good day today. It seems fine now. Don't know what that was all about. Not having a good day, guys. Sorry. Let's just go to the. Let's just get straight into the UK weather here. So I'll just do the weekend one, and we'll just go through as much news as we can before something goes wrong with the camera again. Right, here is the weather we got here for the UK today. 777,886 here, with some rain and showers forecast here over Friday here. Some high winds in Scotland, Wales, and Ireland here. Northern Ireland experiencing some there. Some rain showers here around Wales. Rain and snow up in the Highlands there over the weekend. Temperatures are going to be remaining pretty chilly as you would expect around this time of season here. 7 to 6 and 8 degrees here from everything here. Moving into the next day here, not too much change in the temperatures. Well, sorry, there is a change in temperatures. The temperatures are really dripping. Sorry guys, I'm really not sorry, recent events is just, yeah, it's just kind of put me down. The reason why I'm really peed off is not just because the camera, just because of that. Google have taken money from, Google have literally taken money out of the account because they're holding it. So they feel they're entitled to take some of the money that I've earned out because they're still holding it, which has really infuriated me, guys. Money that you guys have invested into me has Google have literally taken that by right they have no right to take. Yeah, I found out this morning. So understandably, I'm not in a very good mood. Weather over the weekend here, we can see temperatures still remaining very cold, bits of rain and whatnot. I would just say for the weekend, guys, yeah, there is this for the weekend. We'll cover the weather good and proper on Monday, but for Saturday and Sunday here, there will be some rain, there will be some snowstorms up in the north there, but temperatures are staying roughly around about the same. Be a bit more chillier on Sunday into Monday morning, but that's about it, guys. So I'm just going to leave the weather for now because yeah, I'm not in the buoyant mood as I normally would like to be, guys. So let's just get straight into it. UK politics here. Make my flesh creep. MPs across the political spectrum condemn Trump's claims about NATO troops here. Yeah, Donald Trump basically said that NATO troops here were far away from the front line and it was all US soldiers, which is such an insult to our British Armed Forces. I don't agree with what we did in Afghanistan. I don't agree with what we did in Iraq. I don't agree about some of the decisions that our politicians make when it comes to sending our soldiers into conflicts that, by right, we shouldn't be in any way, shape, or form here. But to claim that, to make this pathetic and an insulting claim that NATO troops and armed forces who fought alongside Americans, to claim that they did not, that they were cowards of some sorts. There's no bigger coward than Donald Trump here, because he cowered out of doing his part when it came to standing up here, and this guy absolutely like talk about insulting, like this absolute piece of shit to talk about soldiers like this, and who give their lives, who give so much to. I'm not just talking about British soldiers. I'm talking about all the troops who do this, because at the end of the day, yeah, whether you agree with the conflicts that take place or not, yeah, whether they're justified or not justified, yeah, soldiers putting their bodies on the line, giving their livelihoods for whatever the causes they are, and it's a heartbreaking thing for them to, whether they come back from that or they don't come back from that, and the families have to live with that burden of knowing that their sons or their daughters never come home from those conflicts. Some of them come back with arms and limbs gone from terrible mental and psychological health, and it boils my blood so much that Donald Trump would talk about troops like this when he doesn't have a fucking clue what it's like to pick up a gun, what it is to even be a soldier, to do what these men and women do. It's something that is very difficult, very stressful, and takes a great deal of sacrifice. I can't express how angry I was when I heard this story this morning. This really upset me, because like, I don't have anyone in my family who has ever joined the army or been part of the army, but I can just say, like, from being on the outside, like, what they do is incredible. It's incredible, and I know that there are criticisms and there have been bad deeds that forces have done in the past. I'm not dwelling away from that, but to claim that NATO troops working alongside with the US just sit back and let the Americans do everything is just 100% bullshit. It's just so much bullshit. It's so insulting. I just cannot fathom how insulting it is, and it's also insulting to his own to his own American troops as well. It's insulting to American forces as well. So yeah, Trump prompts outrage and with claims NATO troops avoided front line of Afghanistan. MPs ask Serious Fraud Office to investigate UK's home insulation sector. So we touched on this yesterday, myself and Wayne Pagan, about the insulation sector. So there's been a lot of companies who have. So this was a scheme that was set up by the Tory government here. Catastrophic failures of the Tory government scheme. So basically, what was happening was, right. So the government were incentivizing, obviously, people to insulate their homes, which obviously on paper sounds like a good thing, and it is a good thing. You want to insulate your home so that you can reduce the amount of heating and you can keep your home nice and warm, right, and all this kind of thing. The problem was a lot of these companies that did them botched them, did such a crap job, or did such a terrible job, and they basically got away with money. And we're talking about 30,000 households left with defects after catastrophic failure. 30,000 people. Not just from the grants from the government, but obviously their own money that they put towards this in order to insulate their homes, to avoid, getting, to avoid paying more for your heating. Because in the long term, obviously, that's the whole point of it. If I'm honest, the payment for all this should come directly out of the Tory party's coffers, because they're the ones who set up the scheme in the first place. And if you're going to set up a scheme of any sort to help this, you need to make sure you avoid as much faults and defects as possible. Now, I believe, and I believe that the Labour government are going to set up may set up a similar scheme or one of their own at some point. I hope so, and one that will make sure that people who do the jobs, make sure if they don't do it properly, that they face massive fines in doing so. So members of Parliament have called for the Serious Fraud Office to investigate UK's home insulation sector after thousands of households suffer ruined homes, big financial losses and months of disruption from the clear and catastrophic failures of two Conservative government schemes. More than 30 left defects, some of them severe, including mould, water ingress and damage to the fabric of walls. With about 3,000 dwellings so badly damaged they presented immediate health and safety risks to occupants. Households that had external cladding installed, numbering about 23,000, bore the worst of the damage, with 28% 98% damaged and in need of repair, alongside 29 of homes fitted with internal wall insulation. So the scheme, being called ECO4 and the Great British Insulation Scheme, were begun and mostly ran under the last Conservative government. The overarching energy company's obligation, of which both schemes were part and has been since scrapped by Labour. A new initiative, the Warm Home Plan, announced this week, will take over funding the installation of solar panels, heat pumps, as well as installations. So, in a report into the scandal published on Friday today, the Public Accounts Committee of MPs recommended that an investigation into ECO4 by the Serious Fraud Office, an overhaul of the way the government handles some home installations. George Clifton Brown, the chair of the committee, has said that this amounts to the most catastrophic fiasco that I've seen on this committee. The project was doomed to failure from the start. He blamed the way the scheme had been operated, with responsibility shared among several organisations, and did not communicate effectively, and with a failure to act when the problems started to emerge. So yeah, this is basically them taking a step back, saying it's your company, you companies need to deal with it, not us, the government, basically here. So thousands of people are now living with health and safety risks in their home, and despite government protestations, we have nowhere near enough assurances that they are not financially exposed to unaffordable bills to repair the defect works. Public confidence will have rightly been shaken in retrofit schemes given what has happened. The MP said that ECO4 resulted in the worst rate of failures we have seen in the chair's approximately 12 years on the committee, and blamed the Department of Energy, Security and Net Zero and other government agencies for being far too slow to act. Labour now faces additional bills to remedy the homes of those affected, despite a find and fix strategy. Only about 3,000 homes have been repaired by last October. So there's still 27,000 homes that still need to be fixed from this error that the Conservatives fecked up here. Ministers need to focus on fixing already damaged homes and ending the suffering of tens of thousands, often vulnerable people who live in them. Victims of botched retrofits are sick of vague promises. What they want is a public inquiry into this scandal and a guarantee their homes will be fixed. Like I said, the tab should not come out of taxpayer money. The tab should come out directly out of the Tories' coffers. For me, the money should be coming directly from the Conservative Party. They were in power. They were the ones who introduced the scheme. They were the ones who implemented the scheme. And they're the ones who should pay for the scheme. Not Labour, not the taxpayer, them. They're the ones who paid for it. They're the ones who started it. They're the ones who screwed this up. They're the ones who didn't make sure that the frauding wasn't taking place. They're the ones who should pay for it. They should pay out of pocket for this. I don't think we should be paying out of pocket for it. But, yeah, I'm just a bit peed off about it. A slight movement in my camera, and all of a sudden it just goes haywire. It's like, talk about sensitive. I need to get a new camera, guys. What if I move? Such a sensitive little camera. Absolutely insane. So sensitive. Yeah, I definitely need a new camera. Well, I don't have any money, so can't get one. Protests expected as first asylum seekers arrive in East Sussex camps. Oh, great. Starmer's allies launched Stop Andy Burnham campaign to block parliamentary return. Okay. What else we got here? Campaigners launch 1.5 legal action over the UK against Apple over wallet hidden fees. What? So anti-competitive behaviour led to additional charges that have pushed up the cost of millions. What? Finance Canvasser James Daly has launched a 1.5 million class action lawsuit against Apple over its mobile phone wallet, claiming the US tech company blocked competition and charged hidden fees that ultimately harm 50 million UK consumers. Lawsuit takes aim at Apple Pay, which they say has been the only contactless payment service available for iPhone users in Britain over the past decade. Yeah, there is no other way there. Daly, who is the founder of advocacy group Fair Finance, claims this situation amounts to anti-competitive behaviour and allow Apple to charge hidden fees, ultimately pushing up the cost of banks that pass on charge to consumers regardless of whether they own an iPhone. It is the first UK legal challenge to the company conduct in relation to Apple Pay. It takes place months after regulators like the Competition and Market Authorities and Payment System Regulator being scrutinised by a tech industry's digital wallet service. Hidden fees. That's as if my day couldn't get better. Case has now been filed with the Competition Appeal Tribunal, which will now decide whether the class action case will be moved forward. I've had to use Apple Pay for the last several days because of my card situation. I told you guys that obviously that my card was, I had to deactivate my card. The only way I could make payments for things was to use Apple Pay. So now I need to see if I've been charged hidden fees, is what they're saying here. I need to look at the statements, look at my bank statements carefully now. People have no idea if they've been paying more for everyday banking because of the way Apple has operated Apple Pay. By shutting out competition and charging hidden fees, like, where are these hidden fees? I need to know more about this. Apple's pushed up the cost of millions of consumers. Shockingly, it doesn't just affect Apple Pay users, but iPhone users. Banks have passed all these costs on to the customers, meaning everyone is paying the price. Apple says in a lawsuit that a statement that its lawsuit is misguided and should be dismissed, adding Apple Pay is seamless and fast way secure to make contactless payments. And one of many payment options for consumers, Apple does not charge fees to consumers or merchants for using Apple Pay, and banks see meaningful benefits from offering Apple Pay for their customers, most notably fraud reduction. The company said it had recently added tech capabilities, including near-field technology and secure element application interfaces, which give third-party developers a way to enable contactless transitions from their own apps, including the UK, and continue to ensure that UK customers have access to the payment option of their choice in a safe and secure environment. So there's no hidden fees, is what Apple are saying, and yet they're saying there is hidden fees. The lawsuit notes that similar fees are not good on the equivalent. This is my note list gets bigger. Not a good mood today, guys. Sorry. It said the additional costs were borne for UK customers have been passed on through charges on a range of personal banking products ranging from current accounts, credit cards, to savings and mortgages. It also said about 98% of consumers are exposed to banks that listed on cards on Apple Pay, meaning the vast majority of UK population may have been affected. While the case only results in an average the case may only result in an average 26-day payout for consumers. David said, "I'm bringing this claim because consumers have been treated unfairly. The way this has run Apple is quietly increasing banking costs for consumers over many years. I want to put stop to that and secure compensation for millions." Yeah, I need to have a look at that. ADHD waiting list clogged by parents returning from private care to NHS. There they are promoting private health insurance there. Student loans, my debt rose £20,000 to £77,000, even though I'm paying it. This is why I hate debts. This is one of the things that put me off a mortgage, owning a home as well, and having a mortgage, guys, is debt. You know, I don't want to pay. Like, if I could pay their house outright without interest, I would. But you know, they don't. You know, I would. But yeah, I don't want to go through all that. Just don't want to go through all that. Yeah, I would rather pay. I would rather pay to rent. I'd rather pay rent than go through that shit with the mortgage. Personally, guys, I don't want to give. I'm paying interest. Why did I need to give bank interest? Fucking hate it. Canada's Carney fires back at Trump after Davos speech. This is from the Associated Press. House Republicans barely defeat Venezuelan war powers resolution to check Trump's military actions. White House shares altered image showing arrest of civil rights attorney in Minnesota. Takeaways from Jack Smith on his case against Trump, so many witnesses and the threats ahead. TikTok finalizes a deal to form a new American entity. I wonder how much my content will drop off a cliff, yeah, as a result of the change in ownership on TikTok, guys. What do you think? Stars and the public are saying final goodbyes to fashion icon Valentino at Rome funeral. A TV show about the NYPD is now a legal drama starring the city and Dr. Phil's son. Not interested. Texas and Oklahoma brace snow and ice as winter storms are bows towards eastern two-thirds of the U.S. And millions of Americans prepare for potentially catastrophic ice storm. Let's see what Trump does there. Probably will do a shit. He'll claim it'd be very, very cold and very icy. That's what he'll say. It'd be very cold and very icy. That's what he'll say. Iran's prosecutors denies Trump's claims 800 prisoners were spared execution. Minnesota gears up for anti-immigration enforcement protests on Friday despite the dangerous cold. They're not going to stop protesting. Putin meets Trump's envoys. Kremlin says Ukraine settlement hinges on territory. Yeah, Russia made it clear they're not moving unless they get territory. It's basically what they've said on that. So, Kushner's vision for rebuilding Gaza faces major obstacles. TikTok USA will have a different algorithms. Reganelite. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Thanks for clarifying. There. Federal officers detained 5-year-old boy who a school official says was used as bait. Yeah, I've read that story. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Musk draws laughter with peace versus peace regarding Trump's border peace. Yeah, it's absolutely this is the one thing. The border peace thing is a whole bloody joke. Absolute joke is what it is. Russian cosmonauts films Northern Lights above Earth. Canada's Carney fires back at Trump after Davos speech. Trump keeps calling Greenland Iceland during Davos speech. Yeah, we covered that. That's all the stories there from the Associated Press. Let me have a look here. Let's have a look at Sky News. Sorry, guys. I'm just not... I do apologise, guys. I'm not in my usual mood. Yeah, I've just had... everything today's just been shit. Sorry. I don't like expressing it, guys. Normally I keep it to myself, but today it's kind of been a bit harder too, so I do apologise. Trump under fire for claiming US allies stayed off Afghan frontline. I've already said how I feel about that. How quickly could the UK ban teenagers from social media? It's an analysis piece there. There's a big hurdle standing in the way of Andy Burnham. Yeah, I don't think it's that simple for him. I don't think it's that simple for him. Asylum seekers move into army barracks. Yeah, they're going to complain either way. Like, doesn't matter where you put them. So, they're going to complain either way. UK hospitals dirty water linked to child's death. What? Scottish largest health board has finally admitted that contaminated water at a Glasgow super hospital likely caused serious infection in some child cancer patients. Jesus. That's terrible to read. Cost Molly her life. Is this one of the UK's biggest hospital scandals? The cancer ticking time bomb explained. Trump under fire. I'm sorry, I love this headline here. Trump can go fuck himself over NATO claims, says MP. Says MP. I love that. Oh, thank you. A politician has actually said that. Oh, I'd love someone to say it in Parliament, but they never will. 457 British personnel died in Afghanistan. Trump dodged the Vietnam War draft 5 times. Thank you for that analysis piece there, Sky News. Thank you for highlighting that Trump dodged the Vietnam War draft 5 times. Tells you everything you need to know about him. Plus more. Surprise bounce back in December as people bought silver and gold at record price. Well, gold is a valuable commodity right now. So, yeah, it makes sense for people to buy gold. Police begin murder investigation after death of baby from head injury as well there from Sky News. As well as another story there. Let's have a look at Al Jazeera here. What else we got here? Ukraine, Russia, US to meet for the first trilateral talks to end the war. I want like they're saying they're supposed to be meeting today in Dubai. I don't like. A part of me just feels like Russia are just going to walk out on it because, you know, it's Russia. If Russia's spokespeople are going to walk out on it, I just feel like that's going to happen. Is the UK playing a double game in Sudan and Somalia? Are ICE agents trained to use deadly force and evade lawsuits? I think, yeah, ICE agents are just trying to do whatever the hell they want and get away with as much as they want, I think. Psychological war in society. Russia plunges Ukraine into darkness. Waiting to die. Hunger, devastation, and tyranny a year after USA cuts. At least 2 soldiers dead after cargo ship sinks in the disputed South China Sea. How did that happen? Singapore flag cargo vessel with 29 fully passengers on board capsized, killing 2 and leaving 4 missing. The Chinese Ministry of National Defense and the Chinese Coast Guard sent 2 vessels to assist the capsized boat on Friday. Coast Guard sent 2 vessels to aircraft rescue operation. It wasn't intentional. Just it wasn't. Looks like a It wasn't intentional, but it looks like just something happened. So what's this one up here? Critics say that enabling violence in Sudan and while backing Somalia's unity is doing business with Somaliland. The result, the UK is increasingly seen as an amplifier of the Horn of Africa's crises. In December, as so often during the ongoing war between the Sudanese army and the Rapid Support Forces, the British government urged accountability, expressing concerns about the mass-scale deaths and devastation that civilians have affected. But reports showing that behind the scenes, the UK has rejected more ambitious plans to prevent atrocities as violence escalates. Further east, the UK has officially backed the territorial integrity of Somalia, while holding a stake in a strategic port in the breakaway region of Somaliland that it does not recognise. These decisions and moves by the UK, saying analysis raised doubts about whether its words are in keeping with its actions in the Horn of Africa. Sudanese political analysis says the UK's credibility is increasingly judged by the risk it is willing or unwilling to take. When people believe your words and your actions diverge, they stop treating you as a broker. They start treating you as an interest manager, told Al Jazeera. That judgment analysis argues now colours how the UK's actions elsewhere in the region are being read. In Sudan, earlier reports showed how the UK government opted for what internal documents describe as the least ambitious approach to end the bloodshed, even as mass killing by the RSF mounted into far, including around Al Fashir. Yeah, they were quick to move on, the mainstream media, after the massive bloodbath in in the capital. They were very quick to move on from it, the mainstream media. It argues that this has led the UK to be viewed not as marginal or distracted actor, but as central ones whose diplomatic posture has helped shape how the war is framed internationally. He referenced reports to UAE as armed or supported RSF. Allegations documented by UN experts and international media denied by Abu Dhabi, and said the UK has emerged as an enabler of the Emirates' aggression in Sudan, the aim to whitewash RSF's atrocities in the diplomatic framing of the war. After Barrett's approach to Sudan, the UK's Foreign Office told Al Jazeera the crisis in Sudan is the worst we've ever seen in decades. The UK government is working with allies and partners to end the violence and prevent further atrocities in occurring. We need both parties' support for a ceasefire. That means unrestricted humanitarian access and peace process with transition to a civilian government. Recognise Somalia, do business with Somaliland. The Foreign Office did not respond to questions about the UK's role in Somalia or its commercial engagement in Somaliland, where scrutiny has increasingly centred on the port of Barbelia. The British government co-owns the port for its development finance arm, British International Investment (BII). The port is jointly owned by the UAE-based logistics firm DP World and the government of Somaliland. Even though the UK does not officially recognise that government, the UAE too formally does recognise Somaliland. It sits in one of the world's most important maritime corridors linking the Red Sea and the Indian Ocean. Impact Assessment commissioned by the UK Foreign Office described it as a strategic gateway to Somaliland and a potential alternative trade corridor to Ethiopia, language that places it firmly with the region's geopolitical architecture. Yeah. So the UK government playing fiddle with people again. They only tell you what they want you to know, not what you need to know. Remember that. Anxiety, anger, and hope in Syria's Damascus after SDF ceasefire. Japanese Prime Minister dissolves Parliament, paving the way for a snap election. Yeah, I've got a short video dropping on that if you want to know more about that. That'll drop over the weekend. Vietnam's Tu Lang wins second term, extending top position for 5 more years. General Secretary Tung Yang will continue to lead Vietnam's Communist Party amid pledges to continue rapid reforms. Extending his position for 5 years. Tu Lam was unanimously re-elected to post of the General Secretary according to an announcement made at the conclusion of the party's 5-year Congress in the capital on Friday. Party Central Committee absolutely unanimously elected Comrade Tu Yang to continue hold the position of General Secretary, the party said in a statement. Tram Tan Man, chairman of the Vietnam National Assembly, said the party's chief had received 180 votes out of 180 to remain in the top job. If there was one defection, guys, there'd be hell to pay. If there was one voter who didn't, one person who didn't. Lam's re-election as party chief will send a reassuring message to foreign investors who regularly cite political stability as a key factor of Vietnam's appeal as pro-business environment. He's 68. He's also seeking. Lam, 68, is also seeking to become president, with a decision on that position expected to be announced later. This week, addressing hundreds of Congress delegates seated in the red upholstered chairs in a red carpeted conference hall under the towering statue of the Communist Party's founder and liberation struggling hero Hong Ching-mang, Liam promised to continue fighting corruption and ensure annual growth above 10% through to 2030. Yes, I'm sure it was a perfectly free and fair election. I'm sure it was, guys. Feet dragging, divisions, obstructions, what Israel really wants for Gaza. What it wants for Gaza is to cease to exist and to it to be a part of Greater Israel. That's what they want. That's what they want to do. They just want to continue to take settlements away from people in the West Bank and continue to slaughter people in Gaza. And they'll claim, even though they keep saying there's the mainstream media, if you ask them about it, they'll say there's a ceasefire in place, but they won't tell you that people are still dying every single bloody day there. If you sleep, settlers will burn your house for fear in the West Bank. Palestinian village of Ras Al was held out against violence against Israeli settlers until now. Pro-Palestinian activists on hunger strike say he will begin refusing water. Stripped naked Yemeni detainee recounts torture in a UAE-run prison. These stories still continue to happen. Let me go back to the BBC here. Let me have a look at what you guys are saying in the chat. Good morning from Lakeland, Florida, says Kevin there. Good morning to you. Hope you are doing well. Ellie, good morning to you. Witchy Goth, good morning to you. Rosemary. Anyone else I haven't said hello to? Yep, just having one. Having one of those days, guys. Having one of those mere days, you know. Having one of those off days today, guys. This is from the BBC News. They say Andy Burnham faces decision on the bid to return as MP. Some of the Keir Starmer's allies said they will try to stop Burnham from standing in a by-election. Trump backed down over Greenland because he heard UK concerns, says Lammy. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's not because of the UK. I think it's because of NATO. I think it's because of NATO, not because... It sounds like to me that David Lammy said, it's because of us. It sounds like he's trying to take credit for what NATO have done in the backing down on things. Yeah, I'm not buying that, David, no. Botched installation scheme was doomed to fail. Yep. 29 English councils to delay elections, ministers confirmed. The minister responsible for council elections has confirmed that 29 English councils planned for elections in May will now have these postponed. Local Government Secretary Steve Reed told the House of Commons he had approved delays until 2027, with a final application still under consideration due to be submitted on Thursday morning. Opposition MPs have criticised decisions saying delays will potentially defranchise millions of voters, but Reed stressed the vast majority of elections will still be going ahead. A major shake-up of local government is underway, which will abolish some authorities, and postponing ballots is intended to help deliver that reorganisation. The rejig of local government will replace the two-tier system of district and county councils that exist in many parts of England, with a new utility council responsible for delivering all council services in the area. The government says some councils were concerned about their capacity to run polls alongside the other whole town halls, as well as the cost to the taxpayer of holding elections for councils that are due to be abolished. There were originally 136 local elections across England that were scheduled for May. Of these, 63 were eligible to request a postponement due to local government reorganisation, and up to 30 of these have now been delayed. In a statement to the Commons, Reid said he had listened carefully to 350 representatives about whether the election should go ahead, and confirmed legislation to allow postponement for 29 will now be brought forward. Quote, I've received one further representation this morning and will consider, then report back to my House on my decision, Reid said. In all other areas, council elections will go ahead as planned, many having offered no evidence that it would delay offered no evidence that it would delay reorganisation in their areas. This means of the 136 local elections across England that were scheduled for May, the vast majority will go ahead as planned. The delays were needed so that the issue of duplications across local government could be tackled, he said, accusing the Conservatives of having sit back and ignored the problem for the last 14 years. He said the aim was to save tens of millions of pounds of taxpayer money that was currently being wasted by some citizens for having to shell out for 2 sets of councillors, 2 sets of his chief executives, 2 sets of financial directors. We must move at pace to remove the confusion and the waste up of double bureaucracy, he said. No one would ever design a system where one council collects your rubbish but another gets rid of it. So these are council would postpone elections, local authorities due to hold elections in May 2026. So you got blue, which is delayed, yellow ongoing, and white, which is no elections here. This is obviously what England specifically here you can see here. So 1 day request still under consideration. There's no one request is delayed and still under consideration here. So it looks like district, borough, and utility authorities. There's quite a lot there. County councils. There's only looks like 4 county councils have been delayed there, and 2 are still going ahead there despite their request. And then district, boroughs, and utility authorities there, we got quite a fair share that are still going ahead. And there's a few there that have been delayed there. A couple up in the Manchester area, some outside the London boroughs there as well. From the looks of it, there. And it's a bit small for you guys to see there. So that's the current situation at the moment. Danish PM thanks Starmer for support over Greenland. UK holds off joining the board of peace over Putin concerns. Yep. Why join? It's not even a board of peace. It's a board of it's join Trump's board of peace and pay for it as well. That's all it is. Ministers told armoured vehicles which left soldiers vomiting was safe. It's safe even though they vomit from it. Okay. Retired civil servants left in pension limbo. Oh no, what's going on there? What's going on here? Some former state employees across the country have been left with no income this month after the companies managing civil service pensions fails to pay them. The Civil Service Pension Scheme, which manages the pensions of 1.7 million public sector workers in the UK, have been unable to provide lump sums or regular payments to many people since the Capita took over the administration of the scheme in December. Capita said it's been left with a much bigger backlog of cases than originally agreed and apologised to those affected. One retiree, Steve Gill, told the BBC he would have to borrow to pay his bills if he does not receive his pension by the end of the month. The 65-year-old from Hull retired on January the 1st after 40 years at the Lands Registry. He should have received a lump sum shortly afterwards, but he's received no information at all about his retirement package. Steve has said he's made numerous attempts to contact the administrators, including spending nearly 15 hours on the phone on hold. We've got no money. We've got lots of financial commitments. We need to pay off car loans and mortgage payments. We've arranged to get building work done on the house on the basis of expecting a lump sum at the start of January, he said. The outsourcing civil firm Capita took over the contract in December after a lead in time of 2 years. The administrative pensioners for public sector institutes, including HMRC, the MOD, the Welsh Government, the Scottish Government, Transport Scotland, the Crown Prosecution Service, DEFRA and Foreign Office, Commonwealth and Development Office. So it's already... Jesus. This is what happens when you put a lot of things in the hands of private companies. You're trying to look at... They're not taking it seriously here. Paul McCarran from Liverpool spent most of his working life. Now 59, plans to retire early on health grounds after having a heart bypass operation. He gave the required 5-month notice to start his pension before finishing work on the 30th of November. He had hoped to use his lump sum to pay off his mortgage and then live off his pension payments, but he's still waiting. The way it's affected my sleep, it's bad for my angina. I'm supposed to be getting married in September. This has left me with lots of uncertainty, he said. When he telephoned, he waited for an hour on hold before being given the message the building is on fire and we've had to evacuate. Yeah. He said this happened twice, but only before getting through, only to be told his case was with the resolutions team. So he finally got through, and they basically said it's with the resolution team. Capita has previously faced criticisms over their management of teachers' pensions in England and Wales, and has lost contract to the rival Tata. Till the end of November 2025, the Civil Servant Pension Scheme was administered by a company called MyCSP, The contract was taken over by Capital on the 1st of September in a 7-year deal worth £239 million. Launched a new online portal for customers to access projections of their expected pensions and lump sum payments, but the portal launch was plagued with problems. Yeah, so obviously they've had more than enough time to prepare for it, and they basically haven't been bothered. They did, and then they said, "Oh, it was a bit more than we expected," and it's like, well, what do you expect? Their excuse is, "Oh, it was a bit too much there, guys." What else is there, guys? Let's have a look. Queen Elizabeth X statue will be standing not on a horseback. Heathrow scraps 100 ml liquid container limit. Weather issue warning. BBC apologised to sack presenter over homophobic abuse. Scottish Government faces legal action over surgeon inquiry evidence. Demands for online jewellery boost December retail sales as well. And that's about it from the BBC there. Got about 10 minutes left here. I do apologise again, guys, not being in the right frame of mind and whatnot. Let's just have a look and see what we can find in these last few stories here. Millions brace for massive winter storm and bitter cold. Yeah, they got a massive winter storm coming this weekend in America. So cross fingers, everyone's okay there. Kiev is freezing in the dark as Russia strikes leave Ukraine's capital powerless. Russia and Ukraine to hold joint peace talks in the US for the first time. 5 arrested in connection with the shooting in Indiana of Indiana judge and his wife. A judge has been shot in Indiana. American teen stuns 7th seed at Australian Open for career best win. Trump withdraws Canada's invite to his board of peace. I wonder why. Trump claims victory on Greenland. Europe loses trust. Yeah. A tiny Danish American town loyal to Trump is baffled by his threats to take Greenland. We all know why. White House and China finalized deal to transfer control of US TikTok operations. China says 2 people identified 4 missing after the cargo ship capsized. Yeah, we looked at that already. Any other stories here? Philippine sues after slavery exhibits were taken down from President's House's site. Philadelphia sues after slavery exhibit were taken down from the President's House site. Lawsuit said the National Park Service removed the display referring to slavery, presumably pursuant to the mandate of an executive order from President Donald Trump. The city of Philadelphia sued the Interior Department and the acting director of the National Park Service on Thursday after reports that slavery exhibits were being dismantled in the city's historic district. The suit filed in the federal court seeks a preliminary injunction to restore the exhibits at President House site, part of the Independence National Historical Park. The lawsuit says that the National Park Service has removed artwork and informational displays at the President's House site, referencing slavery, presumably in pursuit with the mandate of Executive Order number 14253, in which President Trump signed in March. The city said in a suit that it learned on Thursday that the educational panels that referred to slavery have been removed. Removing the exhibits is in effect to whitewash American history, Philadelphia City Council President Kenya Johnson said in a statement on Thursday. History cannot be erased simply because it is uncomfortable. Removing items from the President's house merely changes the landscape, not the historical records. NBC's Philadelphia aired video on Thursday showing people with crowbars taking down the panels, one of which reads "The Dirty Business of Slavery." The suit says the city were given no notice about the change to the President's house. Calls the removal of displays arbitrary and covetous. So yeah, panels were moved from the grounds of the President's house site in the Independent National Historical Park in Philadelphia. They removed it there. Defendants have provided no explanation at all for the removal of the historical educational displays at the President's house site, let alone a reasonable one, the lawsuit has said. Literally, Trump signs an executive order and they go ahead and they do it. The Interior Department of National Park did not respond to NBC News' request for comment late Thursday. In a statement to the Washington Post, Interior Department spokesperson Elizabeth Pease said actions was taken after a review. President has directed federal agencies to review interpreted material to ensure accuracy, honesty, and alignment with shared national values, Peace said. Following competition of the required renewed, the National Park Service is now taking action to remove and revise interpreted materials in accordance with the order. Trump's executive order directs the Interior Department in its material not to include descriptions, depictions, or other content that inappropriately disparage Americans past or living, including persons living in colonial times. They basically don't insult those people, the people of the past who tried to rise up and fight for slavery and whatnot. Yeah, don't insult those people is literally what they're saying here. We don't want people knowing about that, guys. We don't want people knowing about that. It's literally what this is about. The order title "Restore Truth and Sanity to America's History" has been criticised. It's trying to whitewash history. It's literally what they're trying to do here. It's trying to whitewash history. Death toll in Pakistan's mole fire rises to 67, officials have said there. Businesses in Minnesota are planning to close to protect ICE. The protests to protect ICE. Organisers are calling for no work, no school, and no shopping, no residents and business owners can take part in a statewide protest so that pretty much the state is entirely closing down to take part in the protest. 3 arrested in connection with demonstration at Minneapolis church. So you guys remember I've covered this on Patreon, but basically the people who don't need to hear you. Basically, there was a bunch of people who protested at a church in the middle of a church service because the pastor was an ICE officer, and the Trump administration's gone after people who protested in those churches, basically. Homeland Security and FBI agents, they had to get FBI agents to do this, arrested 3 protesters in connection with the demonstration. They interrupted Sunday service at a church in Minneapolis. The protesters were involved in demonstrations, objected to a pasture site in churches said works for immigration. A federal magistrate retracted a criminal complaint against journalist Don Lemon, who said he was at the church protest because he was reporting on it. According to a source, they arrested a reporter who described Bondi as enraged by the who said it was at the church who was reporting it. According to a source familiar with the matter, described Bondi as enraged by the decision. Several organisers at the protest calling for the resignation of Pastor David Easterwood, who said was also the acting director of Icefield in the office of St. Paul in that role. Yeah. So basically, if you protest in a church, you'll be gone after. Basically, ChatGPT. Paris Hilton speaks out against AI deepfakes. I will not be intimidated. Jack Straw said he'll stand up to Trump despite attacks. Barron Trump called London police after witnessing an attack according to a trial transcript. Lance says Minneapolis will be less chaotic if local officials cooperate more with ICE. Less chaotic. Maybe if they weren't just chucking people out of cars and whatnot. Yeah, I'll stop believing it when I see it, mate. What else is there? Mitt Romney's sister-in-law left for suicide. No, that's terrible. I think that's it. If we can find there, we'll leave that for now, guys. Let's have a quick look before we go. The Kiev Independent here. At least 6 killed, 45 injured in Russian attack over the past day as winter energy crisis racks Ukraine. Why does it say racks Ukraine? Russia launched 101 drones, roughly, including roughly 60 Shalar-type deep strikes, unmanned aerial vehicles into Ukraine overnight, the Air Force has said. Fewer than 20% of Kiev apartment buildings remain without heating amid winter crisis, the mayor said there. I'll cover that one in a short video. General Staff in Ukraine. Russia has launched 1.2 million troops in Ukraine since the start of the war. Fire burns through oil depot in Russian city of Peska following Ukrainian drone strike. Yeah, because they're still trying to strike Russian oil refineries with drone strikes. Zelensky basks Europe's inaction, reveals January 23 talks with US and UAE, Russia and UAE. Just last year in Davos, I ended my speech by saying Europe needs to know how to defend itself. A year has passed and nothing has changed, Zelensky has said. Zelensky ready to make a peace deal, Trump claims after Davos meeting. There's not going to be a peace deal because Russia will not budge on their territorial issue, and Ukraine will not budge on the territorial issue. There's not going to be a peace deal. Stop thinking there's going to be a peace deal, guys. It's not happening. Unless Russia moves, nothing is changing. Extremely serious. Ukraine battered energy system faced the worst day in 3 years. Prominent Ukrainian activists tapped to advise defense minister on frontline drone combat there. Trump's new border peace could tackle Russia-Ukraine, source says. How? How would it do that? It wouldn't. Just no. No, just no. Right, let's have a look. Last stories, guys. Let's have a quick look at Africa news. Democratic Republic Congo's Goma, 1 year under M23 control. Rwanda to test AI power technology in clinics. They've got it on the right there. FIFA pass launches to help fans travel to US for 2026 World Cup. And then they'll get told at the border you can't come in. Board of War. Thank you, Rosemary. Yeah, that's what it's called, the Board of War. What else they? US-backed hepatitis B vaccine study halted in Guinea. Why? Why would you halt a vaccine? What a stupid thing to do. I'm assuming it's to do with aid cuts more than anything. South Korea's Kuno Park suffers devastating damage from floods there. Over 1 million Nigerians face hunger due to funding shortages. Yep, that's the funding this year. That aid funding from the US and others have reduced. Mali's jeweler creates a new ministerial level post to oversee the mining sector. Nigeria's strategy to combat illegal logging and poaching. Violence by illegal gold miners in South Africa forced families to leave homes there as well. Why Macron wore sunglasses indoors at Davos? Yep, you guys told me it's something to do with his eye yesterday or 12 on Wednesday about that story. Something with his eye is what you guys said there on that. Right. Yeah, pretty crap day, shall we say, for me, guys. Look, I'm sorry I'm not being in the right frame of mind, guys. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just because well, I don't really want to say on the live stream what it is. If people want to ask, there is other things, not just the things that I've said on the live stream, but there's other things as well that's kind of put me off today. But I'm gonna try. I've recorded 8 short videos for you guys for the weekend that I need to record, obviously, for Monday as well. What else is there? So next week, just for reference here, we have the usual 5 live streams of Good Morning. We'll have The Viewpoint on Monday. We'll have Global News at 4 p.m. on Tuesday. We'll have the Watch Along live stream on Wednesday with Prime Minister's Questions is still scheduled from what I checked. And then on Thursday will be non-politics live stream, first one. We'll see how that goes, guys. Hopefully that will be a bit of fun. Next month, there is 1 week where I'm away in February, just letting you guys know. So the only 2 big live streams on Thursday for next month, is the Eco Flex show on the 12th of February. And I haven't put it up yet, but there'll be a roundtable on Thursday, the 26th of February, with myself, Mikey Famine of the Ben Podcast, Van Man Talks, and Daily Blase. So that's going to be quite an interesting live stream there. So yeah, it's been I'll be having Mikey Famine on. So I'll be looking forward to have him on the round table there. So thank you guys all for coming along. Thank you guys for all your comments. Really appreciate it. The channel has slowed down again as well. So if you guys want to support me in any way, hitting the like, share, subscribe, all that usual stuff, guys, really does help support me. Obviously, if you want to financially support me, join Patreon or buy me a coffee, either one of those 2 ways. But I appreciate everyone coming out today. Appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good weekend. Hopefully on Monday I'll be in a lot better mood, but we'll obviously cross that path when we come to it. But enjoy your weekend, whatever you guys are doing. There'll be the usual funny video, Speaking My Mind, and good news video dropping as usual over the weekend, and then the usual short videos. No live streams over the weekend, guys. just for reference. Last week was obviously different because it was my birthday, but that's about it there. So thank you guys all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.